It's back-to-back 1-0 wins for PSG, a winning start to the season of Luis Enrique's men. Let's welcome in a Frenchman now, in the form of Frank Leboeuf, to talk more about what we've seen here. 2 wins from 2 now, Frank, both by the minimum scoreline of 1-0 for PSG.
Yes, that's enough in terms of points, and more than enough. In terms of quality, we are still facing a team who is digesting, in fact, their summer, the last season. I feel them being better in terms of the physical aspect of the game. I saw Barcola tracking back, working hard for the team. I feel that the players are more ready physically, but they're still short technically. We can't find what we found at the end of the season. But I think it's coming up. It's getting a little bit better. It's not there yet. It's not the Paris Saint-Germain that we have seen lately, but the spirit is there. And as long as you score 1 goal and you win, and you get the 3 points, that's more than enough.
Well, it gets us to the point, Stevie, doesn't it? And I know we talk about it when it comes to Ligue 1, but PSG, being the team that they are, how do they maintain their focus throughout the league season to ensure that when it comes to those Champions League games, they are on top form?
Well, I think they know how to do that. They certainly did it at the second part of the season. I think for right now, they look as though they need to get back to full fitness, because clearly they're not as sharp as certainly when they're at their best. So I think it's step one, and that is to get into that position. And then from there, they follow exactly the same rules, training, whatever it was that got them so sharp, regardless of the opposition, whether it was Ligue 1, whether it was Champions League, it didn't really matter. This team was at it. So for me, I don't think that is going to be a problem. Right now, I think they need to get back to that full sharpness, fully 100% fit, because right now they're not.
And at some point, I think it's fair to have the conversation about the Club World Cup. And when Frank just mentioned there where they were physically towards the end of last season was basically a month ago. And so where is the recovery for these players, this sharpness that Stevie's talking about? Well, yeah, they want to take some time off, but they really can't take a lot of time off, because now the season starts and you have the European Super Cup and this, that, and the other, and we're back into competing for things that count for something, and you haven't had the time to decompress. You haven't had the time to, okay, let me take a breath here. Like, okay, all right, let's relax for a bit. That hasn't happened for PSG, and it hasn't happened for Chelsea, and it hasn't happened for the teams that had this long run and deep run in the Club World Cup. And eventually these things are going to begin to show up. Cole Palmer was missing today with a Nicol injury. Where do you think these things happen from? Well, because you've been playing non-stop. I don't know when this break is going to be for PSG, and I don't know whether they're going to be able to just get themselves going again automatically. These things are going to continue to show up. So even though you're not playing at your best and you're still winning games, that's useful for this group. It's useful for Luis Enrique. But eventually, they're going to have to get better performance out of themselves, because they're now in a different conversation, PSG. It's no longer about whether they're going to win Ligue 1 or not. That's obviously the case, and we think that that's going to be the case regardless. The conversation of PSG, that they're at the elite level of European football. And if that's the case, there's an expectation that comes with being that. So you have to be far better than what they have been so far this season.
This young team is actually going to go through now the experience of having to be at their best week in and week out. You know, when you're climbing the mountain, it's great. And you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And you don't think about how it happened or how you're doing it. You're just doing it. But once you get to the top and you want to stay there, now you've got to try and understand how you got there and how to stay there. And so this is a learning experience, because this is a young team. And right now, there'll be 3 or 4 of those young guys running around trying to figure out why my legs are not underneath me. Because they're not used to it. They're used to just being able to play, not under too much pressure, and just get on with it. Not anymore. Every single time they step on the field now, there's an expectation. And that takes experience to figure it out and then produce it week in, week out, game in, game out.
Are there concerns about this in France, Frank, about how they're going to maintain the success that they've had, and also that Club World Cup potentially catching up with them?
I wouldn't say that people are concerned, as people are watching it and they want to see if a Paris Saint-Germain or the players will be able to handle that the end of the last season. And as Ali said, it's like a month ago, not even a month ago. So how are they going to digest everything, and if they can perform the same way they performed at the same level last season? As Stevie explained, the consistency matters in that matter, and it's what it is. What Liverpool was able to do on Stevie's era is confirming what they were able to do a season before. And that's how you get big. It's how you get the respect from the others. Paris Saint-Germain have done something exceptional last season. People are watching it, they see, and there are expectations. They want to see if they are capable of doing again. If they're capable of doing again with the same level, technically, physically, tactically, they can win the Champions League again. They can, well, at least fight against Liverpool, Real Madrid, whoever it can be, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and that's what we want to see. We want to see Paris Saint-Germain at the same level and say, okay, that team, that club has settled down, and they have a level now. And that's what we all want to see. But we all know, if we know football, that it's going to take a time. They have, again, to digest the World Cup, the Club World Cup, also the fact that they won the Champions League, and they need some rest.
So how does Luis Enrique manage that, Stevie?
Well, I think they're lucky that they've got a manager in him that's been through it before. And he knows where the level is, and he knows how to keep a team at that level. He did it with Barcelona. So they've got the perfect guy in charge. It comes down to him and his staff. You have to, individually, certain players sometimes need a rest, sometimes need pushed, sometimes need told to go home and have a couple of days off. This is the intangibles of football at this level. Because you can train and you can play, but there are certain little things that you need to do in order to stay at the top of the mountain that I was talking about. And that becomes individually where the coaching staff and the manager need to make sure they know their players inside out, which I'm sure he does. And then you have to take the appropriate steps. As I said, whether it's giving somebody a few days off or pushing somebody else or whatever it may be. Those little intangibles are what will keep PSG at the top.
And you're talking about intangibles, Stevie. I'm going to address the physical aspect of the game. When we highlighted some of the best things that PSG did towards the end of last season in the Champions League run, is the willingness to go and press the ball together. So you see Dembele running after the ball. You see Doué going and pressing opposing defenders. You see a team that is working together physically. And that is something that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of sacrifice. That takes a lot of legs. If you don't have the legs underneath you, as Stevie was talking about earlier, then it's difficult to go and press together. It's difficult to do it individually. It's difficult to do it as a group. And now you're not nearly as dominant as you were towards the end of last year. It's going to take time. But how do you rest while the season is already going on? That's going to be the challenge.